Hi, I'm Nick Shell, and we're going to look at this new series of comments on the video I did yesterday called Homeless Men Less Likely to Lose Hair. Now, I even said it. I said this is a stupid topic. No one will agree with me. Basically, I'm going to look like a crazy person for even making this video. Turns out, apparently, I'm not that weird after all, and we've actually accidentally tapped into something that is greater than all of us. So we need to discuss it as a group. What can we learn from each other on this? So let's look at a glimpse of a couple of the comments I received. Our good friend Robert had this to say, quote, "You're not crazy. That was me who brought up the topic." Maxwell Smart, who's a barber, commented on it also. "Not a stupid subject. It's sort of an interesting phenomenon," end quote. And then from who I call now Hebrew Polish Parrot had this to say, quote, "It may be alcohol consumed in large amounts, seriously decreasing DHT serum levels. Alcoholics are usually more impotent, and with gynecomastia, which is the swelling of breast tissue in boys and men caused by an imbalance of the hormones estrogen and testosterone, which are symptoms of low testosterone and DHT levels," end quote. On top of that, I also want to, now in between making that video and this one, I talked to Daryl again, the guy, the 49-year-old, and he had brought it up too separately from this video series, on his own brought it up, and that's what prompted me ultimately to make that video yesterday. But he was saying, and this is what he told me about himself, and I think he mentioned it in his video, that he himself, I guess, has low testosterone, and he said the guy that he noticed that was homeless with this perfect head of hair just was very low energy as he walked down the sidewalk. And so it is interesting. I mean, this is one of those things. I'm just serving as a host on this one. I'm not presenting a theory. I'm just exploring it with you, and I really want to learn more about this, see what patterns we can figure out though. Is there truth into a connection here of having a full head of hair but having lower energy because of the hormones and DHT? Does that somehow contribute to it? Maybe a lack of motivation? Because, you know, living in Nashville as long as I have, there's a high population of homeless people, and I do believe in having compassion and helping them by all means. That's something that I believe. But I think also psychologically, you look at why they're not in jobs and what's keeping them from being able to function in that society where they are able to provide for themselves in a structured manner. You know, there's stuff going on there. Just like another thing I taught myself about homeless people from driving by them when I lived in Nashville. Again, they're just at every red light. Now that I live in the suburbs, there's actually a law against there being homeless people. I know that sounds crazy, but where I live in Tennessee now, which is about 40 miles south of Nashville, it's against the law to be asking for money and just standing around. You legally can't do it. They will arrest you. They will take you away. You cannot be homeless and walking the streets. It's like the First Blood, the first Rambo movie. Like that cop didn't want him around and he ushered him out of the city. Like that's how it is where I actually live. But again, in Nashville, not the case at all. And basically the culture of Nashville just kind of tries to help these guys survive and get by. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm putting homeless people down. I'm a person of compassion, and I want them to be loved and cared for like I do anyone. But it is interesting that there could be this phenomenon that these guys are less likely to lose their hair somehow. And it's not that if you're homeless, you won't lose your hair. It's quite the opposite. That ultimately, men who don't lose their hair somehow are more likely to end up homeless, is really the way we should word it. Again, sounds crazy, but more than just me is noticing this. It's other people. And in fact, I would not have made this video on my own. It's too crazy. I wouldn't have done it, but enough outside sources have caused me to make this video. Now, I can't explain it, but that's why I'm making this video. I want us to try to figure out more theories on why it is that men with a full head of hair are more likely to end up homeless than men that do have the different DHT levels that, you know, don't have hair on top and that sort of thing. I wonder, you know, it's interesting to try to figure out, you know, this population of homeless people in America, especially. Like, for example, for me, something I've noticed, and hopefully I can legally, socially say this because I am a quarter Mexican, but something I've noticed with homeless people I've never seen a Mexican homeless person. I just haven't. I just never have. And, you know, I understand they've got, you know how it is. And when you see there's certain things that they do for a living, maybe under the table, and they're always I mean, haven't you heard that perhaps Mexican people are the hardest working people? They'll do the hardest work for the least amount of money and with no benefits. I mean, that's the stereotype, is that, in my mind, is that Mexicans are very hardworking people. That's the stereotype in my mind. Mexicans are very hardworking people. And so I was thinking about that one day, and back when I lived in Nashville, I thought, and I've never seen a Mexican homeless person. So that's just things I'm kicking around in my head, but there's got to be some patterns in what ultimately is going to make someone more likely to be homeless. So as goofy as it is, here's what we've got so far. If you are, let's see, so if you're going to be homeless, you're more likely to be homeless if you have a full head of hair and you're not Mexican. That's what I've got so far. Let's just have fun and try to figure this out, and let's submit our ideas. But especially this part about the hair thing. I just don't understand how that is and why that is and why so many of us have noticed that. So I'm not teaching you in this video. I'm asking you. Teach me. Throw stuff at me. Help me understand why men with hair are more likely to end up homeless. As crazy as that sounds.